Bentley makes about 10,000 cars in a year.
I never talk about the volume because it's not so important for us. We look
Fair.
to fulfill customer wishes. Yeah.
Fair. But there are 5,000 people. Why do we need so many people in today's world? What is it about human hands which a robot can't make?
If you look at the stitching, the cross stitching of leather parts cannot be done by a robot. Not today, and will take a lot of time because it's not rigid material, it's leather. It's fluffy. This is really difficult to handle for every machine, to handle fluffy materials and to stitch it. And also, if you consider you have to program and prepare everything, but we're doing a lot of one-offs. The color combination is only wanted by a single customer. To program a robot and everything, it would take way more time and also cost instead of having highly skilled workers, our employees, and they do it. And it's not all are building cars, so we have around 4,500 on site. But maybe manufacturing of the cars is 1,700, 1,500 around. So we have a lot of people in engineering, some in procurement, in marketing, in after sales. All the functions are on site. And it's true, the majority is not making cars or is not producing cars. It's the smaller group is producing cars. The bigger group thinks about what to engineer, to design, to sell, to produce, to procure, to plan. Also, you need a planning department behind all these workers, that you have logistics behind it to get the parts in time to the line and so on. So it's a complex operation.
But even polishing, that could be handled like with a machine, right? Why do we need manual polishing?
You will see more polishing in a new paint shop done by machines. On the original sanding, the final polishing is that a robot can really do it in every detail. Yeah, a hand is good feeling for that is something valuable.
But does your customer, people who are buying Bentley, do they care more about handcrafted or handmade things?
Yes.
Why does an end customer care about handmade things, not a robot made?
It gives you a better feeling. The car is made for you. It's very specific, and we see for sure. I had the chance to walk the factory with some customers coming from everywhere in the world. And then you walk through and you see all our people working there and doing cross-stitching and polishing the cars and do the assembly. After going through the factory, no one is asking why is the price of a Bentley, where the price of a Bentley is. No one asks. They all see the handwork. They see the passion. And again, we are talking emotions. This gives a different understanding of how these cars are built, on the care we take, on where you can really see how the leather is built on the seats. And people are looking for every little detail that makes the difference. And that gives you a more personal connection. And I would say it's in every product that you own and you have an idea of how it was built. It connects you different than if it's just something you buy off a shelf.
Another thing I was blown away by, actually 3 things, and which were the most expensive 3 things. So I want to point them out one by one, right? Because you already pointed out it's one of one paint. What is it about paint in a luxury car which makes it extremely expensive?
I think paint is in a car, paint is an extremely complex process. If you look in, majority of the cars in the world are white, the other part is black. But this is not the expression. This is just very functional. White is easy to paint. Okay. And as there's a lot of hot countries, white helps you a little bit in protecting temperature. If you climb up the automotive ladder to more expensive cars, sportier cars, again, it's about the expression. You're looking for something special and you want to show that. And paint quality is a subject everyone can see on a car. Because if you look at it, if you see the surface, if you see how polished it is, and you see the reflection of the sunlight, I think this is it's just an amazing experience. And again, our senses, the visual, what we see is just great.
But what makes it expensive? Why is it so expensive?
There's a development process behind it. So you cannot just take every color. You have to test it. You make a climate test. You make a stone chip test. You make a cutting test. You look out for corrosion and so on. There's a lot of technology behind it. And if you go down then to hand spray, you have people with an application that needs a lot of experience to get it the homogeneous and no variation in the thickness, because we have hard requirements that the thickness of paint should not be have variation over the body. And if you go then in things like our ombre paint, where you have two different, in fact it's 5 to 6 different tones over a body, it is pure craftsmanship. And if you talk to people who are doing this is really art. You have the talent or you don't have the talent. If we would go now out there and try to spray a car and paint a car, it would look horrible. And we have the same paint, the same machine, the same body, everything the same. But you need this feeling. And if you're talking and craftsmanship, that's it. It's people that can apply that have the experience. They made it for years. And interestingly, you find people in our paint shop that they're painting cars for 25, 30 years. And they have the joy every morning to come in and to say, look at the result, look what I can do. And it's really unique. I'm very fascinated by what our people can do there.
And then the second thing was the sound of a door. That tells you whether the car is cheap or expensive. How do people engineer sound of a door?
That's really engineering. That's a lot about seal, rigidity, it's sound deadening, it's stiffness of panels and everything that you can engineer. But it needs a lot of passion. It's the latch, everything. We have acoustic cameras that show you where something's swinging. It's knowledge, again, engineering knowledge, but it's attention to detail.
So what's the difference between a cheap sound and an expensive sound?
I think
that when you close the door, the sound is different.
It's you don't hear secondary effects. You don't hear anything swinging. It gives you a deeper frequency. What comes with higher weight. This is why if you close a carbon door, sounds completely different than closing a steel door. Today we have aluminum doors. The question is the secret sauce. How should it sound? It's difficult to define, but I can tell you if I slam a door that this is not how it should sound. This I can say. But what is really good? It's difficult.
But then
customers have a feeling for that? And interestingly, as part of buying a new car, is opening the door and slamming it,
and they can make it out.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds solid. I think for Bentley, it should sound solid.
But does Bentley have a specific sound? Like this is how the door slamming should sound?
I don't think, or maybe I should ask our engineers if they have a reference door. I'm sure we have a reference door.
Maybe they all are like, they're so experienced. They're like, this is Bentley sound and this is not.
Yeah.
Can you make it out? A Bentley sound?
The question if we have separate cars and just would hear it and not see it, if we could find the Bentley, for me, maybe hard. For others, I would say they can do it if they're more the experts.
But it's engineered. That was a fascinating thing.
That's engineering. But it's a lot of attention to detail.
And sometimes you spend months on just the closing of door.
Yeah.
For engineering that sound.
Yes.
And then there was wood.
Yeah, that's also fascinating.
Yeah, like they told me there was this small room, like probably smaller than this, and millions of dollars of wood. which look like this, like just a thin slice. What's about wood?
Again, it's and Bentley, and you see it also in the leather. We're talking the natural material, and we are looking very often. Even we engineer a car, and it's a piece of art, but we look very often in nature. What does inspire us from nature in colors, materials, leather, wool, color schemes? You sometimes have, if you look at your ambient light in cars, it looks like Pearl Tower in Shanghai. Everything is very bright. Is this what we want to look at? Or do we look for sunset, for the light that comes through a forest? Or if you're at the sea and you see the blue water, are we looking for these natural themes? We strongly believe, yes. We're looking for nature because it calms us down a little bit. And wood is is maybe the material mankind uses the longest because it's easy to work on, and it's available and so on. And wood in cars has a long story. It was a material available, easy to use, so it was used in cars. Today, for sure, from a functional perspective, you don't need it, but we also look in decoration, and we look at a feeling that gives you a nice and also luxurious feeling. And wood is still associated with a luxurious feeling. If you have a table, and this is the one here, I would say is not overly luxurious.
Yeah, it's functional.
It's very functional. If it would have a wooden surface, we would say, oh, look at this. This is nice. And same in the car, in the decoration. And this is why wood is very traditional in Bentley. We have a lot of knowledge there. You have seen all the different materials. But again, it comes to the craftsmanship. If you then know that the pattern left and right is the same, it's mirrored, you have a center line, and then you find the patterns on both sides of the car, there's a lot of knowledge behind that. And I had the chance to do a little bit an internship or for a couple of hours to work, not really work, but I was shown what to do and could try it myself. And then you find, oh, it's not so easy to really get it perfectly matched.
Mirrored,
that you don't see if you stitch two pieces of wood together, that all the fine lines still align, and you cannot spot where the joint is. Believe it or not, but every morning I take my fingers and I go over this wooden surface, and it just gives you a very good feeling. And again, I come back to the senses. This is touching. You connect differently to a part because you go over the surface, you feel it, and you can really see the craftsmanship. That's the story behind it, and it pleases you every morning.
See, we spoke about the art and passion, again, craftsmanship. I want to speak to you logically. Do you think the end consumer, do they pay more, or do they really care about you sourcing a wood, let's say from Japan, and then sending it to Valencia, and then bringing it here, and then matching this perfect thing, and not using any other thing? Like it's everything is natural. So this story, if you don't tell this story and you still put a wood which is probably looks the same, and because you can recreate the same look by probably cheaper means, right?
Yeah. Could be maybe done. Yeah.
So if you just do that and you don't tell the story of where you're sourcing, how you're doing it, would it matter to a customer?
I think yes. It's the part of a luxury product is to understand where does the material come from, and the storytelling is extremely important. And it's not telling a story where there's no content. It's telling the content and telling the story behind it. And then you create the value. And this gives a deeper understanding to the customer what we are doing, but it also lifts your product in the value because you understand all the effort that is behind it. And I would say it's if you have a silk scarf and you understand where it comes from and what it takes to get the silk and the weaving and the printing and everything, and it gives you a different link to your product, but it also rectifies sometimes the price. You see, well, with the silk scarf, it's not just somewhere machined. It's people. It's handcrafted. It's thoughtful. It's sustainable, and you consider the price then different.
So let's say if I remove Bentley badge from this car, what will be something in a Bentley without the logo, which will be difficult to replicate for a competitor?
I think the interior quality we offer is, I would say, it's unmatched. There's no car in the world that shows this level of detailing.
Thank you so much for watching this episode till the end. We would love to know what you liked or disliked about this episode, and which guest you would like to see again on this show, or which are the new guests that you want to see. Let us know in the comments. Your feedback helps us improve and make every episode a little better. I'll see you the next time. Until then, keep figuring out.